Hey guys, welcome back. It's your favorite Gimp with the Limp, and I'm here with my first part of my review through covering Fields of Fire 2, The Old Breed. I know a lot of you guys have definitely been looking forward to this playthrough. A couple quick things before we get started. I'm trying a couple different ways filming this. I was debating on whether or not I was going to film it from up above, pointing down with a static camera, or doing the handheld so I would have an easier time moving around to all the different areas, because it's just hard to get it all in frame. I decided to go handheld. If you guys would prefer the static camera, let me know down in the comments for the next video. This one has its benefits. The static camera has its benefits. The sound quality is going to be better with a static camera because I can attach a much better mic to filming. This one though, I can actually get in and show you the counters a lot easier since there isn't a Vassal module for this one yet, so I'm not able to take and put the counters in the corner showing you guys what's going on. So let me know what you would prefer down in the comments, and depending on which way you guys vote will depend on which way I film the next one. Also, for this, I've been reading over the rules. I've been going over it back and forth, and you guys know one of the things I was iffy about in the overview video was the fact that this game is rated at a 5 on complexity, and it's not. It's way higher than that. And I remember when I did my videos covering Fields of Fire, the first one, or the second edition of that one rather, so many years back, that I was a lot newer to wargaming, and that one was blowing my mind. So what I've done is I've poured over the rule book and I've gotten into it and have, the best grasp that I can possibly get of this. And of course, if I took more time and kept getting into it, I'd get better, but I don't have, like I said, months to dedicate to just one game. But I didn't take and watch anyone else's playthroughs or anyone else's how to plays or anything like that. This is me with my understanding of it, not groupthink, if you guys get what I'm saying. That way it'll kind of help show the point that I'm making, because I'm sure I'm going to make mistakes here or there. So you guys feel free to put them down in the comments down below. Anything that you notice that I'm doing wrong, because I know I'm going to get stuff wrong, and we'll just see how much one person just sitting down with the rules, just going over it, can grasp all the different concepts that are applied. If I get, the majority of it right, then okay, good. But if I do have a fair amount of errors there, then we can, gauge based on that, like, was 5 accurate or was it a little bit off? So let's get started here. Like I said in the overview, this is the second mission in our little booklet here. I'll pan over. This is our scenario booklet. Went with the Japanese counterattack, one attempt, daylight, and it's a continuation of the first map. And where is that page? It shows it's a couple pages up. There's actually a neat little diagram showing how the cards get set up. Yeah, right here. That's missions 1 and 2, and the blue all the way down at the bottom is the ocean. And then as you move up, you're into different sets of cards. So if you count up from the bottom, it's 4 rows of 4 for each mission. So, or 4 rows of 4 and 4 columns of 4. Basically it's 16 cards. So if you count from the blue up, you go to this midsection is the end of mission 1, and mission 2 actually begins from there and goes up to here. So it's kind of a neat way for them to diagram that, and then over to the side is a little legend telling you what all the cards are. Took me a sec to get my mind wrapped around that. I'm like, am I supposed to set up all those cards? Because that's a hell of a lot of cards. That's bigger than my table hold. It's like, no, these are 2 different missions. So neat way for them to do that. But here's our mission. What is this? Before mission replacements? No, we only have 4 turns. The experience for the enemy is line, and their activity is overrun. So that's something that we have to look into when we're doing their activities. The main line of resistance. So basically we're just trying to get the first row and hold on to it. Like I pointed out previously, this is our main company. This is the units that we have. And something that I'm not entirely sure of, and I've been trying to decide which way I'm going to go with this, because it looks like it's one way, but I could kind of see it going another way. A platoon will have attachments to it. It'll have like a machine gun group attachment. And what I wanted to do was have over here, I've got my first, second, and third platoons spread out in this staging area. And I wanted to have bits of the machine gun platoon spread out throughout with them. All right, so they would each have some automatic fire. So how we have the machine gun platoon, and then there's an HQ for that, and then there's first, second, and third. Well, I wanted to take first, second, and third, attach it to first, second, and third platoon. But I'm thinking that according to the rules, these guys have to get their orders from the machine gun platoon commander, the headquarters there. I'm not entirely sure. I think they have to do it that way. Like other attachments could get their orders from, just a generic platoon commander, but I'm not sure if these guys can or not. So here's what we're going to do. I've got the machine gun platoon commander. There's a lot of units over here on the left, but most of these are like headquarters units in the staff. Just to have some other units able to put fire down range, I've got them over here. So the machine gun platoon commander, the HQ, is going to be here with a couple of them. And then I've got the others over here. And for now, I'm going to let them be able to be commanded by second and third platoon commanders. If I'm wrong on that, if they can't be attached like that, you guys let me know down in the comments, and then we'll adjust it in the second video. And then we've got our little mortar section, because I like having the mortars kind of spread out too. I think first platoon right here has something. They've got the heavy weapons. They've got the bazooka with them, and there's one more over here somewhere. There's also going to be tanks in this one, because there's also the attachments that get added in as well. So there's the tank platoon HQ here, and then they can actually attack on their own as well. They've actually got attack factors, and this is something I didn't do when I did Fields of Fire originally. I didn't have the vehicles shown, but I'm trying to get the vehicles in this and show all the aspects of the game. So we'll probably have the tank HQ hang back, and then I've got a tank on each one of the staging area cards so they can push forward. So hopefully these tanks can get on these cards and hold them down. So that's all the stuff that we've got there, different staff and everything else. I think that's pretty much all that I got to cover for you guys. We'll show what I went ahead with as far as what they have. They've got their radios and phones. We've got our platoon, our command trackers up here. There's no weather to keep track of. Nothing's affecting visibility. Our contact level is no contact right now. That will change as soon as we have some contact. And then I've got the pyrotechnics and everything spread throughout all the different sections for, the little purposes. And what I decided to try to do, I don't know how well this is going to work. It just depends on how the strategy plays out. Let me grab my little sheet and I'll show you here. Backside, I didn't bother writing all this in because I'm not keeping track of the experience. It's one of the things I mentioned in the overview video there at the end. I am using a couple of the rules that make it easier, as in I'm not keeping track of experience and I'm not keeping track of ammo. I'm not worrying about those aspects. We'll see how it affects the game, but so far we're just going to go with that. I'm not worrying about any of that. The pyrotechnics over here, I have the colored smoke as the infiltration order to move forward. And to do an infiltration, you have to have guys moving onto a card that has a volume of fire marker on it. So it allows you to move forward without getting the exposed marker, basically. And what I was thinking is if I don't send everyone forward at once, right? I have either just one squad go forward or the tank go forward. I'll decide that here in a minute on who I'm going to send forward first to spring off these potential contact markers, because they're going to kick off. All those are going to, spawn enemy units that we're going to have to deal with. Then once these remaining units back here in the staging area, they can all pop smoke to issue the order to infiltrate, because then there should be volumes of fire markers on these cards, so these units will take and move forward to seize them. That way they can use one order to do that. That's my thought process. I don't know how well it's going to work. We'll have to see how it works. And then a couple of generic orders down on the Red Star and the clusters, or the parachutes and the clusters. Ceasefire and shift fire, left those with the company HQ to be able to just pop those off, if I need them to cease fire. Because the way the rules work in the game is your guys will just continue firing at a card even if all the enemy has been taken out. So if all the enemy in the card directly in front is taken out, I pop a parachute to say cease fire. Well, they'll cease firing at that, but then they'll automatically pick up fire at another target within their line of sight. So I should be able to use that to kind of do a shift fire, but the shift fire is the clusters anyway, so it kind of works. We'll see how it pans out and what you guys think down in the comments. All right, well, let's get into this game proper. Now, if I read this right, the CEO, the commander of the company, does have a command, does have contact with battalion with hire, okay? So he does get to activate and draw a card, get his orders, and then he can pass it on down. Now, when I originally was setting this up, I had actually missed the part that there were tanks included in this on my side. And when I was prepping it and getting ready to play, I noticed that the enemy had tanks. I'm like, what the hell are they going to have tanks and I don't have tanks? And then I noticed that for mission 2, there was the tank platoon attachment. So got those guys out, put them across the board. So originally I was thinking with his orders, I would take and send the platoons forward to scout, but now I'm kind of thinking I send the tanks forward to scout. But I don't have as much experience with the vehicles. The vehicle combat is actually handled a fair bit differently than the regular combat is handled, so that's something else we have to deal with. But that's all right. We'll jump into it. Let's just take and draw our first card, see what our commander is going to get for his... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. 2 freaking orders. That's it. 2 freaking orders. Okay. Let's set that over to the side. So that means I've got 2 orders for my company HQ. We're on turn 1 here. Now, what am I going to do with those orders? I know I'm going to activate some of the platoons. And what I'm thinking is that I'm going to be better off activating probably the tanks. Because if I understand tank combat right, and I was reading over it just before I went through this, but there's a lot of attack, reaction, back and forth stuff that goes on, and some vehicles can move and attack and some vehicles can't, and it's all handled in this funky manner. But I'm thinking my little tank HQ here, if I activate him with one of those orders, that'll leave me 1 order that I might be able to take and do something. And see, the thing is I can't take and activate him and let him activate his guys and save that order and then do something else with the commander. I have to take and activate him and anyone else that I'm going to. Do I want to activate one of these platoons to send them forward? You know what? I'm probably going to just save that 1 order for the following on phase and see what happens then. And we'll just issue the 1 order. Okay, so we'll flip this over. It should say save on the backside, doesn't it? Yeah, activation complete. And I will place this down on 1 to signify that the CEO has 1 command remaining saved for the following turn. And I'll give that 1 order to the tank platoon to activate. So let's actually flick to the back of our booklet here. Ooh. One thing I forgot to mention, on our next turn, starting turn 2, we'll have to do our friendly hire HQ event. We don't have to do that on first turn, so nothing to worry about. Defensive mission, we're not on. We are still considered an offensive mission, so we're in our friendly command phase here. We did our company HQ. The battalion isn't on board. They're talking to each other, but they're not on board, so you don't have to worry about drawing for them. We did that, and now we're into our platoons or staff or anyone else that's getting activated. So we're at this part here. Now you can do the initiative, which is less. So we will still have a chance to do these guys, but we're not going to have as much. Plus, our command staff only gets one command unless they're specifically activated. Anyway, we're still back up here, and the platoon commander, HQ or staff, the tank commander has been activated. So now we're going to draw a card for him. What the hell, man? I'm getting shit. I don't want to waste a turn. This is crap. I'm not going to be able to get anyone moving. I wanted at least 4 commands, but at least 3, but that's all right. Okay, so the tank, and I just noticed I don't have a tank thing, but I guess it's just because you've got to use the activation markers instead. So, oh well. Here we go. And actually, let me check real quick just to make sure that there is not a tank HQ command marker. Yeah, as far as I can tell, there is no marker up here like one of these for the tank platoons. So that's all right. We will take and activate the HQ. Got 2 orders. He's going to take and use it to activate. We'll activate our 2 center tanks. So activate this one, and we will activate this one. But they're not going to move yet. See, we're still on this part where we get our commands out and handling all this. So they don't actually move, I think, until we hit over here. Yeah, move and fire activated vehicles is on this section of the flowchart. You guys can see what I'm talking about. There is a real specific list of how you have to take and go down all of this. Now, I'm making sure one more time on something. Give me 1 sec. Okay, I'm just checking one more thing. Just make sure I'm doing this as right as I possibly can. So our units, our infantry units, are going to move in this command phase here, okay? They'll do their attacking over here, but they're going to do their movement here. Now, we've activated everyone that we can with their active commands. So now we're into this company HQ for the initiative, like they're taking the initiative to act. Our HQ is already gone, so now we're going to do for our platoon HQ, just to go ahead and handle this part. You see where it says, if not activated above the command staff, just gives 1 command. So I'm going to go ahead and list down their 1 commands, because I don't think I'm doing anything with them yet. So that's the company XO, the first sergeant, and the gunner sergeant. And as anyone knows who was in the Marines, the company gunny is God, the best rank to be in the Marines. So I'm going to take all these guys, give them 1 command, and we're not doing anything with them yet. So I'm going to flick all those over to just activated and save that 1 command for later. So they'll join the company HQ with having 1 command. Now we can take and do for our other sections. We'll save the machine gun and mortar section commanders for last. Let's get our actually, because I'm trying to decide. I've got my machine gun HQ here, and he's got a couple of guys with him, and I'm wondering, do I hold him back or do I go ahead and move him forward with his sections? I know I'm not going to take and activate the mortar guys first. I don't want them moving in quickly. I want them kind of hanging back and then bringing in. You know what? Screw it. We're gonna do the machine gun guy first. Let's go ahead. I don't think it matters what order I do these guys in. You guys let me know if I'm wrong, but I don't believe it matters. So let's do our machine gun commander, because I'm going to have him move forward. Let's take... Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Look at how many orders this dude got. He doesn't need. He got 3. Okay, and I need to explain this. You see how in the top left where the helmet is 5. So if he had been activated during the friendly command phase, during the activation segment up here, then he would have got 5. But since we're doing the initiative segment, he only gets the lower count, which is 3 orders. So let's take, he has this group, and we're just going to take and issue them an order to move forward and to seek cover. That's 2 orders. We're going to resolve that potential contact here soon. And let's grab our exposed marker because they are exposed from moving. They're all up. His whole little section that's with him, which is 4 steps of machine guns. He's got the first of the first with him and the second of the first with him, just to have some boots on the ground over on this side. So, and I'm still going to have these tanks move forward later on. And I wanted to have all 4 tanks so I could have a tank up there. Now, first order was spent to take, and let's actually keep track of that. He's on 3. We'll take and move him down to 2. First order was spent to take and move up. We're going to spend our second order to seek cover, and then we'll take and save our last remaining order with these guys because there's nothing else to do with it just yet. Now you see where it has 3 cards there. That means that he has 3 chances to draw for cover, and he's looking for cover on one of our decks. Let me make sure there is no modifier for that. Give me one sec. Okay, so I checked it over here on our movement actions, move to attempt to find cover, and there is no modifier that I can see just yet, just what's on the card. We can see this is a 3-draw card, and it can have up to 3 cover markers, distinct cover markers on it. So let's take and draw and see if we do come across some cover. First is, hey, cover! We did find it. And we'll go ahead and draw our other 3. And of course, we got another cover. And another, oh my God, I didn't want to draw 3 covers because that means there's less in the deck for later. Oh, so bad. All right, let me grab one of our generic cover markers. We'll take and place it. And now all these guys are under cover marker. I think it's 3 steps. Anything over 3 steps is a penalty when it comes to being attacked, but that's only like heavier attacks like grenades and stuff like that. But my luck, that's going to happen anyway. But it's okay. We've got 1 order left with him. We've saved that. These guys moved up. They are exposed, but they are undercover. So it's a -2 for being exposed, which will go away next turn. But they'll keep that cover marker. So that's good. Takes care of our machine gun guys. Let's take and move on to our platoons. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and draw a quick one for our mortar section because I know I'm not doing anything with them. Of course, it's a big... God, I am killing myself right now. Mortar section is going to have 3, and max save is 4, so he can just keep the 3 because I'm not doing anything with him yet. Now we'll take and draw for first platoon. First platoon gets 3 that he gets to spend. So we'll take and drop him down here to 3. So he's right there, ready to go. First platoon is right here, ready to go. Now, I think we're gonna try to scout here. So, yeah, well, the tank's gonna move up anyway. Screw it, we're gonna try to scout. But if I don't move them all up, they all can't see cover. I don't know. I'm trying to decide. Yeah, we'll scout. See, what I'm thinking is he's in the staging area, so he's in a different area. When this squad goes up, it's a 4-step squad, but if they get there, then there's no way they can communicate at this point, and I have to wait until the platoon HQ moves up to take and grab hold of it. You know what? We're going to do it that way, because if I scout with this guy, right, and move him up, and there's contact that happens, these guys can attempt to infiltrate. It's not a guarantee, but they can attempt to infiltrate. So at least the rest of the platoon here won't be under an exposed marker, and only these guys will when they move up. So they might take damage, but it'll save these guys. We're sending our dumb privates forward to let them scout out and get killed, so our smarter corporals and sergeants can follow up and shoot the bad guys. You know, that's how it works in the Marines. Actually, we joked when we were overseas that the Army got minesweepers and shit like that to detect for mines in front of the tanks and the vehicles we were pushing forward. But in the Marines, we don't have all that fancy gear, so we just had a Lance Corporal walk in front of the Humvees. That was such dumb shit. All right, so we're going to spend, I guess, just 1 order to send him forward, because we're not going to be able to communicate with him, so he's just going to go forward, be marked with an exposed marker. Let's grab our exposed marker here. And he's not pinned. Yes, he is exposed. And that will potentially kick off, well, that's going to kick off this marker because of how many that we have going on right now in our target level. Ooh, knock this off. And do I want to do anything else? Because I think I just want to send one forward. So we'll save that order, the orders that I got left. So that leaves 2 for first platoon. Now let's draw, and we're going to do the same thing for second and third platoons. So second platoon has 3 orders that he can use, and he's going to do the exact same thing that first platoon did. So we'll go ahead and save the final 2 orders. We'll send a single, third of the third forward like that. There we go. And we will mark him. Sorry, you guys are looking at my fat arm as exposed as well. And fourth platoon, or not fourth platoon, third platoon. He's going to do the same thing. He's reshuffle action deck. So you guys give me a sec. I will do that. Finish my current draw. He gets 2 orders. So third platoon is the last one here. I'm going to place him with 1 saved order left out because he's doing the same thing. He's spending 1 order to send forward 1 squad and drop the other squads from on high because they're parachuting in. I'm just picking, don't take that seriously. All right, come on, get back on there. It's harder to do this when you're holding a camera because I'm looking through the camera view trying to manipulate this, so it makes it a little odd for me. Okay, so he's forward. We'll grab ourselves a exposed marker. Now, we have guys all the way across the field. This mission involves holding this row of cards. The first turn, we've got A markers on them, the potential contact. The second turn, the A markers get placed back on there. And then after that, we don't have any markers on here. We just have to hold off against the units that are going to be pushing in. Actually, I'll show you where I'm getting that information, because I know some of you guys will want to know. Let's see, where is it? Just a little bit ahead here. Okay. That information is right here on the attack placement, the turn. First turn, there's A, and this is in row 1, which is that first row I've just moved into, that Palm Grove. First turn, we've got A markers. Second turn, A markers get placed back, potential contact. And then third and fourth turns, none and none. So we just have to hold off against those. So let's take and finish out here. Okay, we're back, sports fans. And you see I've got my action deck reshuffled, good to go. Put the reshuffle card back in there. So when you draw that shuffle card, you'll take and set it aside. Finish out the draw that you're doing currently, and that's when you go ahead and reshuffle your deck. Of course, if the reshuffle card happens to be the last one and you have to reshuffle, you just go ahead and do it. So it's not a big deal. We have moved up. We've done all our general, or rather our initiative commands. Now there is one more thing left. When it comes to doing commands, we are in our general initiative impulse. So we draw an action card, and we can use those as basically free orders, but it's the initiative orders, not the whole orders, to give to any troop on the board. Okay, so let's take and draw that really quick. Okay, I was looking back over this again one more sec about, it threw me off with that. If it's a combat patrol, have the number. I'm like, okay, we're not on the combat patrol. We're on the other thing. So we're good. We'll take and go ahead and draw ourselves a card. And now, remember, we don't get the top number, but we get the bottom number, which this is actually pretty decent. So 3 generalized orders that we can take and spend to do anything. Now, I could really use more than that because I want to take and activate these other tanks, but I've got 3 squads out here that are not in any type of cover. So I can use these orders to activate my extra tanks, or I can use these orders to put these guys into cover. And I'm thinking my best bet is to have them move into cover, so I guarantee them some cover, and it gives a spot for some of these other guys to move into as they move forward. Oh, do I want to move the tanks forward or not? Well, I'll tell you what, we'll just leave these 2 tanks activated, and we'll use all 3 orders across the board to take and seek cover, seek cover, seek cover. And it's the same thing, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 across the board. So we'll draw 3 for each one of them. First one, we're going to go right here on the left and work our way to the right. Looking for cover. Got rally. Got nothing. Got rally. No cover for you. Second one. Got contact. No good. Got cover. Yay. And last card is cover, of course. So this guy actually does get a cover marker. Let me grab one here. Throw that with him. And now last cover. 1. That's contact. 2. It's rally. I need cover. Rally. Okay. No cover. Go figure. And all of a sudden my camera got a little darker. Let's see if I can adjust that in editing. Anyway, that ended up being 2 out of 3 of those orders were wasted. So we'll stack this up a little bit if I don't knock them all around, because it's a gimpy video and it's what we do. Screw it. They're all under cover right there. Okay, so that's how we're finishing out our order section here. We've got one machine gun group up over here in cover. They are exposed just like everyone else. Exposed, no cover, in cover and exposed, exposed, no cover. And these guys are getting ready to take and move up. Okay, so looking at our sequence of play here, we just finished off this segment. Just like the friendly side has a HQ event, so does the enemy. They have a higher HQ segment, but that also starts on turn 2. So we're not going to have that come into effect yet. Next turn, we'll have to take and draw for that and see if there's an HQ event that happens. There's a mutual capture and retreat phase, and any paralyzed or litter teams or casualty, stuff like that, that has a volume of fire, or it's an enemy section without friendlies there to help them, they kind of get captured. So, and this is also when you'll try to take and retreat those troops back to get them out. You can actually get points, I think, for evacuating casualties. Now we're up to the mutual vehicle and aircraft phase to take and move them. But we're going to take and actually pause here because the video is hitting about the 30-minute mark and I don't want to take and go too long on it. We will pick up with our tanks moving in and activating our PC markers. I don't want to move them just yet because I don't want to forget to do something I might potentially need to do with these counters at the start of the next video. So we'll pick up with our tanks, 2 Shermans moving in to the second and third card here, and then we'll resolve these potential contact markers, which is where we actually find out what enemy forces are there and where they're located on the map. All right, that's going to be it for me. You guys take care. We'll catch you in part 2.